Thanks for joining us on a fresh edition of the program BOI Weekly. I'm Coyote Alayande. Today on the show, our focus is on Caverton Helicopters, a subsidiary of Caverton Offshore Support Group. Having played for several years in the maritime industry as a shipping company, Caverton saw opportunities in the aviation logistics sector and took a dive as a pioneer indigenous operator. It has no doubt paid off, as the company now has hangars in multiple locations both at home and abroad. Caverton Offshore Support Group, listed on the Nigerian Stock Exchange, proudly provides logistics services to the oil majors as well as ad hoc clients with no less than 20 fixed-wing and rotary aircrafts in its fleet. They are currently building a massive maintenance, repair and overhaul MRO center as well as a civil aviation training center within the Murtala Muhammad International Airport. Caverton is a multiple beneficiary of intervention funds from the Bank of Industry. I spoke with the CEO, Mr. Bode Makonjola. He describes the bank as a worthy partner and a lifesaver. Stay close.
In the agricultural sector due to limited processing and preservation capacity. This results in high food prices and food importation, with its attendant effects on the nation's foreign reserves. To enable Nigerians optimize the benefits from the country's vast agricultural products such as cassava, oil palm, rice, tomatoes and others, the Bank of Industry has launched a 5 billion naira cottage agro-processing fund, the CAP Fund. Customers can access the fund to establish plans to process our various agro-produce into food products or intermediate raw materials for industries at a single-digit interest rate of 9% per annum. For more information on the CAP Fund, please visit www.boinigeria.com/capfund. Bank of Industry, developing Nigeria's agro-processing industry through the CAP Fund.
Caverton Offshore Support Group is one of the leading indigenous offshore support service companies in Nigeria. We are listed on the Nigerian Stock Exchange. We listed in 2008. We started out as a shipping company way back in 1999 and a tanker operator actually. And then in 2004, we ventured into the aviation sector. At the time, we realized that there was a gap in terms of services being offered, and there were no indigenous players or operators in the sector at the time.
I know you operate in the oil and gas industry, and of course you do some aviation services as well. Who are your major clients?
Our main clients are the oil companies, upstream oil companies, predominantly the IOCs, Shell being our largest client, and also Total and NNPC, obviously. And we also now even service quite a large number of the Nigerian oil producers, the independent smaller oil producers.
Great. I mean, your major clients will make anyone smile, but do you have secondary clients as well, or ad hoc services that you do?
Then we also do charter services, so individuals, state governments, or other companies can call into charter flights from one of our many bases across the country, or use any type of helicopter that they desire.
Yeah, you mentioned that you started out as a tanker operator in the marine sector, yeah, and then you saw a new opportunity in the aviation industry. So there must have been some technical gaps between where you were at that time and the new foray that you wanted to go into. How did you bridge that technical gap?
I think one of the things that we set out to do first was to try to understand the market. We realized that you needed to have a base, a solid base, and a very strong technical team. So we took our time to grow organically, as opposed to going out and finding technical partners and then bringing in aircraft and then just being a sort of third-party operator. We actually wanted to be a bona fide operator. When it comes to aviation, we know how important safety is, and we know how important these oil companies take safety, because we're ultimately responsible for moving their personnel to and fro from various installations. Most of these installations are offshore, so a lot of care has to be taken when handling these assignments.
Tell me about your backward integration, the training center, and of course the MRO. How's that panning out?
One, we're looking to diversify our revenues, our business, and the most logical or the easiest or the starting point was really looking inwards to see how can we make our business better, and is there anything we can offer as a third-party service to the wider aviation industry. And we found that we were actually spending, because what happens is pilots and engineers have to go for what we call recurrent training. So they have to, every 6 months or whenever, have to fly out to various parts of the world, Brazil, Dubai, the US, Europe, for these recurrent training. In the same vein, when we have C checks, and even thinking commercial aviation, it also occurs. You have to fly out your aircraft to various locations around the world at great expense, and to actually run your business. So what we set out to do was to say, why don't we actually see how we can actually bring these facilities to Nigeria and offer giving the same sort of commitment to quality that we have already shown. We can actually produce a viable business in one, having a maintenance, repair and overhaul center, and also a training center in Nigeria, in partnership, of course, with industry leaders like CAE, Augusta Westland, who actually manufacture, helicopter manufacturer, and of which we are an authorized service center, and even Boeing as well.